afternoon. My name is the Reverend John Stratton. I am privileged to be the pastor of Trinity Episcopal Church in the Central West End, where we start all of our employees out at a minimum of $15 an hour. Yes, thank you. I also serve on the leadership team of Missouri Jobs with Justice. 2 years ago, the workers here in the city of St. Louis fought for an increase in the minimum wage, and our elected officials voted to increase the minimum wage in the city of St. Louis. We did this because we believe that our communities are worth more than $7 and change. We believe that our families are worth more than $7 and change. We believe our children and our workers are worth more than $7 and change. We also believe that if you work for a corporation that makes billions of dollars in profit, you shouldn't have to depend upon government assistance to put food on the table. And we also did the math. It turns out that you cannot pay the rent, pay tuition, put food on the table, and pay the bills making $7.70 an hour. It just doesn't work. So, earlier in this summer, workers received a raise in the city of St. Louis. Workers started making a minimum of $10 an hour. But the folks in Jefferson City didn't like that so much. They believed that our communities weren't worth $7 or worth $10 an hour. They believed that our families and our children and our workers were not worth $10 an hour. And they believed that we couldn't make decisions for ourselves on how to run our own communities. And by passing the legislature that they did, they obviously believed that you could survive on $7.70. They believed that you could pay the rent. And they believed that you could put diapers on your children and put food on the table for $7.70 an hour. I don't know where they got that math. Perhaps they got some defective calculators from their corporate lobbyists who helped pay to get them in office. And today, because of their legislative shenanigans, workers in the city of St. Louis will lose the raise that they fought for, the raise that was legally and lawfully won. Now, whenever you take away something that was legally and lawfully won, that's called something. Anyone know what that's called? It's called stealing.
Right.
So over 30,000 individuals in this city had their raise stolen starting today, which makes this not a partisan issue. It doesn't make it an economic issue or even a political issue. It is a moral issue. Because it is immoral to take away money, take away again a raise that was legally won from families who are already struggling. And I know that these lawmakers know better because I've been to Jefferson City. And I've seen this large monument that they've erected called the Ten Commandments. You've seen that before, right? You know this one, right? Well, number 7 says, "Thou shalt not steal." And it's literally carved in stone in our nation's capital and in Jefferson City as well. So this was theft. It also bothers me because most of the lawmakers in Jefferson City, a large majority, claim to be followers of Jesus Christ. And I've read some things in the Bible that Jesus said, like, do unto others what you would have them do unto you. And I don't think that our lawmakers would like it very much if their salaries were cut 20%. Jesus also said, whenever you do unto the least of these, you do unto me. So perhaps they're reading corporate Bibles as well with their corporate calculators. I'm not sure. But we will not be silent. The workers here in the city of St. Louis will continue to fight and will continue to stand up. because what has happened here today is just wrong. It's immoral. It's not fair. And when people who have been mistreated cry out, I believe that God hears their cries. So I want to stand in solidarity with the workers. And I urge all of our community leaders and religious leaders to do the same. And I'm thankful that we have elected officials as well who are standing with the workers. Senator Nasheed, thank you for being here. Mayor Krewson, thank you for being here. Executive Stenger, thank you for being here. And thank you for standing with the workers. And we will keep fighting until we have a minimum wage of $12 an hour, not just in the city of St. Louis, but in the entire state.
Right.
Because this was never just about the city of St. Louis. We believe that all working families deserve a fair wage. We believe that working families in Springfield are worth more than $7.70 an hour. We believe that working families in Rolla are worth more than $7.70 an hour. We believe that working families in Columbia and Hannibal and all throughout this state deserve a living and a fair wage. So I want to thank you all for coming today, and I want to thank you for fighting for what's right and what's fair, and I hope that we continue this fight because it's going to be hard, but we're going to do it. So thank you. I'd now like to invite Janice Mackey, who is a McDonald's worker and part of the Show Me 15 activist. Janice?
Hi, my name is Janice Mackey, and I have been a fast food worker for about a couple years now. It's not easy getting paid $7.70 an hour because it's hard for me to struggle with bills. I'm struggling on buying Pampers and wipes for my child. I mean, when I first had my child, I was working 2 jobs, which both paid me only $7.70, and I still was broke, still struggling on buying my child the things that he needed. And to be honest, it was hard. I mean, I'm working 2 jobs. Here I am, a new mom, barely getting time to spend time with my child. I mean, you know, getting that bond with my child, and every mother needs that with their child. And here I am working 2 jobs day in and day out, still trying to, you know, provide food on the table for my kid and bills. And, you know, I shouldn't have to decide on whether I want to have to buy Pampers and, the rent is due, but I still have to buy my child Pampers. I shouldn't have to decide on if I should keep the lights on just because, you know, one paycheck is the whole light bill. I shouldn't have to decide on those things, you know. And I feel like right now it's just, you know, we've only had this raise for about a couple months now, and it's like, how dare you? It's disrespectful to not only me, but it's disrespectful to my child that you have the, you know, audacity to take away that $3 raise, you know. I mean, $7.70, what? I can't survive off of that, you know. I mean, it's already hard enough as it is. I mean, the raise on everything is going up. Like, you know, the wages on living is going up every day, as you know it, you know. And to pay me $7.70 and take care of my child is just, you know, it's ridiculous. I mean, at the end of the day, I deserve $15 an hour and a union, and I'm a hard worker. I mean, this is just not right for me and my child, and I don't want to be homeless or out on the streets because I'm getting paid $7.70 an hour trying to survive every day. I deserve what's right, and this is it, and we're going to keep fighting until we get this $15 an hour and a union.
All right.
Thank you, Janice. I was also remiss, I'm sorry I forgot to mention Representative Steve Roberts for being here as well. Thank you for being here and standing with workers. I'd like to now invite Executive Steve Stenger to come up and make a few remarks.
Thank you very much. I am proud to stand with Raise Up Missouri in this effort to place a proposal on the November 2018 ballot to increase the state's minimum wage. Raising the minimum wage is really about strengthening families. I come from a working family. I still am a working family. And I know that improving incomes across Missouri will help thousands of workers to better care for their children and their loved ones. And when you help families, you strengthen communities. This is a measure that will help workers across a broad spectrum of jobs, including our healthcare workers, our classroom aides, our janitors, and our restaurant staff, just to mention a few. It is a measure that makes sense morally and economically. Moreover, the incremental method by which the minimum wage would steadily rise under this proposal by 85 cents a year until it reaches $12 in 2023 is fair to businesses because it allows them to plan for the future and adjust accordingly. Again, I thank you very much for being here, and I hope that you will join Mayor Krewson and me and the other representatives here, Senator Nasheed, Representative Roberts, in supporting this important issue on behalf of Missouri's working families. Thank you.
You might have seen signs all the way throughout St. Louis that says "Save the Raise" in various businesses. Those are businesses that have agreed to continue on with the current raise of $10 an hour. One of those businesses is the Urban Chestnut, which we are here today. You can taste the justice in their beers. So I invite you to drink up, but not too much. I'd like to invite Florian Coupland, who is the founder and brewmaster of Urban Chestnut Brewing Company, who has pledged to save the raise and also supports a $12 minimum wage statewide. So.
Thank you. As a St. Louis-based company, the success of our business depends greatly on the growth of our city. So keeping the minimum wage at $10 an hour was very important to us. By investing in our people, we're investing in the revitalization of the St. Louis community, and it's good for our business and ultimately also St. Louis. Thank you.
I'd like to invite Eugene Hubbard, who is a janitor with SEIU and who supports the minimum wage of $12 an hour for the state.
Good evening, everyone. Like I said, I'm a janitor, okay, and I'm a member of SEIU Local 1, okay. I don't know about the rest of y'all, but I'm very outraged. I'm appalled as to what happened, okay. Our legislatures and senators, they work for us, but somehow they don't seem to know that, okay. The criteria or whatever they use to create the minimum wage, they ought to know that that's outdated, and it's been outdated for some time. Everybody deserves a living wage. Now, I was part of the fight to raise the minimum wage for $10 an hour for some years with the city. And I'd like everybody to know we're not finished. We're still gonna fight. I'm holding in my hand some petitions. They raise the minimum wage to $12 an hour.
Right.
All right? And I'm gonna be stopping people, I'm gonna be knocking on doors, but we're gonna get that done, okay? And also, again, I'd like to thank the mayor, Senator Nasheed, Mr. Roberts, and all the other dignitaries that came out to support us today.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Eugene. Now I'd like to invite Mayor Lyda Krewson to make a statement. Mayor?
Good afternoon, everyone. So great to see so many of you here today for this important event. Today is a sad day for workers. Sad day for workers. When St. Louis's new minimum wage went into effect back on May 5th, 2017, many city workers got a raise, a $2.30 an hour raise. That's 40 hours a week, That's $4,800 a year in a raise, or $400 a month. That's real money. 2 years ago, I voted for a higher minimum wage at the Board of Aldermen because of the inaction from both the federal and the state level. Too many hardworking families were having a hard time making ends meet. A full-time job ought to be enough to support yourself. $770 is not enough. Over the last few months, thousands of workers saw more in their paychecks. I'm so disappointed that the Missouri State Legislature decided that they know best. They bounced the minimum wage today back from $10 to $7.70. That ain't right. I'm very proud to stand here with Urban Chestnut, one of the many businesses who have stepped up and agreed to save the raise. They know what I know. More money in workers' pockets means more money in businesses' pockets. And that's what drives the economy forward. It's my hope that more businesses in St. Louis will follow their lead. But today isn't just about St. Louis. Today, because of your efforts, it's about over 350,000 Missouri families that are struggling to make it on less than $12 an hour. I'm proud to be here today to announce my support for the Raise the Wage Missouri campaign, a campaign of citizens, as you all can attest, of the great state of Missouri to raise the minimum wage. This campaign, when it's successful, will not only deliver a raise to over 350,000 excuse me, Missouri families, it'll create over $1 billion in increased consumer buying power. It'll move everyone forward. Every working Missourian should be able to make ends meet without having to rely on public assistance and without having to work 2 or maybe 3 jobs. Together, the coalition that we have here today, faith leaders, business leaders, elected officials, community activists, will take up another step forward and help raise the wage. I see the petitions here in hand. I'm going to be proud to be accepting or be collecting petition signatures, and I think we'll get it done here. Thank you all.
For our final speaker, I'd like to invite Senator Nasheed to say a few words.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. Good evening. What do we want? When do we want it? Now. Let me first thank each and every one of the organizations, SEIU, Jobs with Justice, and each and every one of you for fighting a good fight. You know, this is what community life is about. You know, we have a very, very dark cloud among us here in the city of St. Louis today. It's very dark. We have had Republicans to tell us that our people here in the city of St. Louis doesn't deserve a wage, a livable wage, and that's appalling. Let me tell you, I spoke with a young lady just the other day, and she said, Senator, you have to do something about it. She said, I am working at $10 an hour right now, and soon I'll be back at $7.70. And I still have to go to food shelters, and I have to go to food pantries each and every month to put food on the table for my family. She said, that's not fair. See, what we are seeing happening is inhumane. It's not right, because what we're seeing is that people are not looking for a hand up, a handout. They're looking for a hand up. They are willing to work and go to work each and every day at $40, 40 hours a week, 40 hours a week. They're willing to work. And they're saying that, no, we would not pick up guns, but we would pick up a hammer. We would not pick up guns, but we would flip that burger in order to put food on our table. We must understand that the crime that exists in our community today is a direct correlation of what's happening with low wages. Because people can't make it on $7.70 an hour. And so I can tell you right now today that the fight is not over, that we will beat them at the ballot box, because the people throughout the state of Missouri understand that the people that's working 40 hours a day deserves a livable wage. That's right. That's right. And so again, I would like to thank each and every one of you. Continue to fight the good fight. Take the petitions everywhere you go, every step you make. Ask individuals to sign this petition, because again, the only way that we are going to beat Republicans back is at the ballot box. Because Republicans, the Republicans who have decided to turn back the clock on us in the state of Missouri, in the city of St. Louis, they don't even know where to go in terms of grand voice to grand. Let alone know what it takes to survive. And I asked my colleagues on the floor, I asked them when we were fighting it back, and I was the one that they PQ'd, because I was willing, ready, and able to stand up and fight until they pushed for a PQ. I said, can you live off $7.70 an hour? No. Will you be willing to live off $7.70 an hour? No. And guess what? They said, oh, that's going to destroy our businesses in the city of St. Louis. I haven't seen one business throughout this country go out of business because they raised the wage. In fact, businesses have grown and prospered because of a wage increase. So again, I would like to say thank each and every one of you, but know that we have our work to do. So get up, stand up, and let's fight for a minimum wage, a livable wage, something that people can live off of. Thank you very much. Hey, hey. Ho, ho.